The room fell silent when the Navy commander chuckled at her call sign. He leaned back, amused, dismissing her with a wave of his hand. "Viper Queen," he scoffed, as though the name itself was a joke. But beneath the fluorescent lights, with the hum of engines vibrating through the hangar floor, she stood unmoved. Her jaw tightened, her eyes locked forward. She had earned that name in ways he could never imagine, and soon he would learn why. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her name was Lieutenant Mara Hayes. To the outside world, she was quiet, almost unassuming. But inside the cockpit, she was a storm contained in steel. Every maneuver, every decision, carried the weight of lives depending on her. Yet, even with her record of flawless missions, whispers followed her. Some said she was too young, too untested. Others claimed her call sign was more theater than truth, and the commander's laughter only sharpened those doubts. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. Days later, the ocean stretched endlessly beneath a sky bruised with storm clouds. A training exercise had turned into something far more dangerous. A malfunction, a sudden fire, a jet spiraling out of control, and the commander, the very man who had mocked her, was trapped inside. His voice crackled over the comms, strained, panicked. For the first time, the man who seemed untouchable sounded human, vulnerable. Mara's hands trembled for a fraction of a second as she gripped the throttle. She knew the risks. To dive into the storm meant gambling her own life, but to turn away meant letting him fall. Was it justice to let arrogance meet its end? Or was it duty to save him, no matter what he had said? The moral weight pressed against her chest like a stone. The squadron watched from the carrier deck, their faces pale against the wind. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some whispered she wouldn't make it, others prayed she would. The air was thick with salt and fear, every second stretching into eternity. She dove, her jets sliced through the storm like a blade, lightning flashing across her canopy. The commander's aircraft spun violently, smoke trailing like a wounded beast. Mara's voice was calm, steady, cutting through the chaos. "Hold on, I've got you." Her movements were precise, her instincts honed by countless hours in the sky. She aligned her jet, guiding him, coaxing his failing machine back toward stability. It was a dance of death and salvation. Two aircraft locked in a desperate struggle against gravity. The squadron held their breath. The storm roared, and then silence. His jet leveled, steadied, saved by her hand. The commander's voice broke, a whisper of disbelief. "Viper Queen." No laughter now, only reverence. When they landed, the deck erupted. Applause thundered, boots striking in unison, a tide of respect washing over her. The commander stepped forward, his face pale, his pride shattered. He looked at her not as a subordinate, not as a name to mock, but as the one who had carried him back from the edge. His silence was louder than any apology, and Mara, she didn't gloat, she didn't remind him of his laughter. She simply nodded, her eyes soft, her heart steady. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. The storm had passed, but its memory lingered. Dust in sunlight, the echo of applause, the quiet strength of a woman who refused to let arrogance dictate her choices. She had been mocked for her call sign, but in the end, Viper Queen was no joke. It was a truth carved in courage. So remember this: respect is not demanded, it is earned, and sometimes it is revealed in the very moment when silence speaks louder than words. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more tales of courage, justice, and humanity, because these are the stories that remind us who we are and who we can be.